Morning, everyone. A good Erev Shabbos. Hope you are all well. Baruch Hashem, we made it through another week, learning Mishnayos every single day. Today's Shir is Lili Nishmas Aaron Nachman and Simcha Kohen and Mr. Shem having Aliyah and for Shlema for Yisrael and Rachel Leah, Rachel Bas Pesach Zelda, Rachel Aliyana Bas Yad Bracha, Avram Yitzchak Berisha, Chai Bas Tevavela, before Shlema Besach Shar Chali Yisrael. And Shefer Bracha V'Atzlacha V'Tzvi Noach and Bracha Rachel Leah, and all success in all his endeavors, and Zivik Bekarov B'Mixas. It's an oath for someone who admits to part of a claim. In American law, someone has to prove that they don't owe. But in Torah law, the person making the claim has to prove that he does owe the debt. And that's part of Hamas Mechaveru Ala Haraya. You have to prove that the person owes it. So we're going to jump into this right now. Perek Vav Mishnah Aleph. Shevuos Hadayonim. So a person who admits to part of a claim made against him is a modib mixas. He cannot free himself from paying the rest of it until he swears an oath that he does not owe it. So the Mishnah is going to teach two rules about this oath: one about the size of the claim and the amount denied, and another about the nature of the admission. So the first rule, Shevuos Hadayanin, the oath of the judges, that's an oath that was imposed by judges on someone who admits to part of a claim, is imposed only if Hatayna Shtei Kesef, if the amount of the claim that he denies is at least 2 silver ma'as. The Hawada B'Shapruta, and the admission, the amount that he admits owing is at least a pruta. So in order for the court to impose the Raisa Shvua for admitting part of a claim, the claim must be for at least 2 muz and a pruta. And the second rule, if the admission is not about the same kind of item being claimed, but about some other kind of item, pater, and the person making the admission is not chayav to swear this oath. The shvua for admitting part of a claim is only for admitting part of what was actually claimed, not something else. Ketzad, how so? Shtei kesef li biyadecha. If someone says to a person, 2 silver ma'as of mine are by you, return them to me. And the person responds, you have only 1 pruta by me, and that's all I'm giving you. That's all I'm giving you back. Pater, he is not chayav to swear. He is not obligated to swear an oath about the part that he denies owing, because the amount he denies is less than 2 ma'as. Shtei kesef pruta li biyadecha. However, if the person making the claim says 2 silver ma'as and a pruta of mine are by you, return them to me. And but the person responding, 1 pruta of yours is by me, and that's all I'll get back. Chayev, he's obligated to swear an oath about the party he denies owing, because he admits that he owes the pruta and denies that he owes 2 full ma'as. And that's the amount to swear on. If someone says to the person, a mana of mine is by you, return it to me. And the person responds, only 50 dinars of you of all I will give back. Chayev, he is chayev to swear that he doesn't owe the 50 he denies, because he admits which I inherited from him. Return it to me. And the person responds, there were only 50 dinars of his by me, and that's all I will give back. Pater, he is not chayev to swear about the 50 he denies, because he is like someone who returns a lost object to his owner, and who is not chayev to swear that he returned everything that he found. Okay, Mishnah Beis. Someone says to a person that a mana of mine is by you. Amallah bifnei edimhin. And the person answered him in front of witnesses, yes, I owe you a mana. That's true. The machar amallah teneu li nesativ lach. The next day, when he said to him, give it to me, then the person answered, I already gave it to you. Pater, the law in this case is that he is not chayav to swear that he already paid, because he now denies owing anything. However, if on the next day he contradicts himself and says, you have no money by me because I never owed you this money, chayav, he is chayav to pay, because it's the mission of the day before counts as if it was testimony that he did owe the money, and he is not believed now to contradict it. Someone said to a person, the amount of mine is by you, and the person answered, yes, I owe you a mana. And the claimant then said to him, do not give it back to me except in front of witnesses. If on the next day when the claimant says to him, return it to me, and the person answers, I already gave it to you privately, not in front of witnesses. Chayiv, he is chayiv to pay him the mana, because he was required to return the mana to him in front of witnesses, and he did not. Mishnah Gimel. If someone says to a person, I have a litra of gold by you, but the person responds, you have only a liter of silver by me, not of gold. Potter, he is not chayav to swear that he doesn't have the gold because silver is not gold. And admitting that he owes silver is not considered admitting part of a claim for gold. However, if he says to him, I have a gold dinar by you, and the response, you have only because all coins, regardless of the metal that they are made of, are considered one type of item, which is money. It is the mission that he has a smaller coin in his possession is considered admitting part of the claim. Good. Moving on. If someone says to a person, a core of grain of mine is by you, and the person responds, you have only a lesach, which is half a core of beans by me. Pater, he is not chayav to swear, because beans are not grain, and admitting that he owes beans is not considered part of is not considered to be admitting a claim for grain. Kor peiros yeshli biyadecha. However, if he says a core produce of mine is by you, and the chabiyadi elalesa kinnis, and the person responds, you have only a lesach of beans by me. Chayev, he is chayev to swear that he doesn't have more. Shekitnis b'chlal peiros, because beans are included in the category of produce, and admitting that he owes beans is considered admitting part of a claim for produce. If he claimed that the person owed him a certain amount of wheat, the person admitted to him that he owed part of that amount of barley, Pater, he is not chayav to swear that he doesn't owe any wheat, because wheat and barley are different kinds of grain. And admitting that he owes barley is not considered admitting part of a claim of wheat. Rav Gamliel is mechayev him to swear that he does not owe the wheat being claimed. In his view, one does not have to admit to owing the same kind of item being claimed in order to become subject to the Shevuos. As long as he admits to owing something, he is a chayav to make the Shevuos for admitting part of a claim. If someone claims to another person that he owes him jugs of oil, for example, he says to him, "You owe me 10 jugs of oil," and the other person denies that he owes any oil, but admits that he owes 10 empty jugs. Admon says, since he admitted the part of the claim, name of the jugs, Yeshava, he must swear that he does not owe the oil. And according to Ammon, when someone claims that he's owed two things, and the other, and the other person admits owing one of them, he is considered to have admitted to part of a claim, and he's therefore chayiv ishua. The Chachamim say, that the Mishnah is not for the same kind of item as the claim, and he's therefore free from the shua. According to the Chachamim, when someone claims that he's owed two things, he is actually making two separate claims. So when the person admits owing only one of them, he is not admitting to part of the claim. He is admitting to one claim and denying the other. Rabbi Gamliel responded to Admon, and he said, "Rava ani is diri Ammon. I see the words of Ammon as being correct." He said he was right. Okay, so let's go on. Now we're discussing a series of cases in which someone claimed both movable property and land, metaltalim and karka. Tanu kelim the karkos. In the first case, if he claimed from him both utensils and land, behoda bekelim v'kafar b'karkos, and the other person admitted that he owed the utensils but denied owing the land, the karkos v'kafar b'kelim, or he admitted that he owed the land but denied owing the utensils. Pater, he is not chayav to swear about the property he denies, because whenever an admission or denial concerns land, there is no shvua. Secondly, the next case, if he claimed utensils and land, and the other person admitted that he owed part of the land and denied owing the rest of it, as well as the utensils, he is not chayav to swear, because the claim and admission are both about land. The third case, however, if he claimed utensils and land, and the other person admitted that he owed part of the utensils and denied owing the rest of the utensils or any of the land, chayav, he is chayav to swear both about the utensils and the land. He swears about the utensils because he admits owing some of them, and he swears about the land, she'anechasim she'en lehem achrayis, zokakin as hanechasim she'esh lehem achrayis l'shava alehem. Okay, because when it comes to oaths, movable properties, the utensils, subject real properties to the requirement that a person swear about them. So even though there's no oath about land by itself, once the person is required to swear an oath about the utensils, he can be required to swear an oath about the land, even though it is not ordinarily subject to a shvua. Mishnah Daled. We do not swear any in response to the claim of a deaf mute, a person who is insane, or a minor, because they lack intelligence, and a person is not required to respond to the claim of a person who lacks intelligence. They must be in a sakata, nor do we make a minor swear any shvua, whether d'oraisa or d'rabanan, since he doesn't understand the seriousness of swearing falsely. However, one swears to a minor before collecting from his possessions, and one swears to the supervisor of the Beis Hamikdash, to the treasury, before collecting from his possessions. Mishnah Hey. And these are things which we do not make a shvua at all. If a person makes a claim about these things, he does not swear. So what are they? Avadim, Evekananim, Vashtaros, or documents that allow the owner to collect money from someone. Lakarkos, and land. The Hahideshos, things that were consecrated to the Beis Hamikdash, that they were hektish. When any of these items is involved, there is no shvua d'oraisa because the Torah excludes them from the law of shvuos. They are not subject to the double payment if they are stolen. In order to the fourfold and fivefold payment for a sheep or stolen, for a sheep or ox that is stolen from hektish and then slaughtered or sold. Shomer Chinam and Anishba, an unpaid shomer who is given one of these items to watch and claims they were stolen or lost, does not have to swear about it. No Seisacha in Mishalim, and a paid shomer does not have to pay for them if they were stolen or lost. All these are learned from the psukim dealing with these halachas. Rabbi Shimon says, Kadshim shechai b'achriyosan nishbayin alehem. We swear an oath for claims regarding Kadshim, for which a person is responsible, that that he must replace it if they are lost. Such animals are considered the owner's property as well as that of hektish, and they are therefore subject to shvuos. We do not swear a shvua for claims regarding those karbanos for which a person is not chayiv, which he does not have to replace if they are lost. These are considered solely the property of hektish and no longer the owners. Mishnah Vav. Meir says, Yesh yesh bekarka ve'enan kakarka. There are things that are in the ground that are still attached to the ground, but they are not considered like the ground in regard to swearing a shvua about them. Rather, they're treated like movable objects, and the person swears an oath about them, even though they are still attached to the ground. But the Chacham did not agree with him. They treat these things like land. The person does not swear an oath about them. Okay, so what's an example of this? What are we talking about over here? If someone says to a person, I gave you 10 grape-laden vines in my land to watch me with grapes that were ready to be picked. Bahala Omer Einan Ela Chamish, and that person says they were only 5. Rabbi Meir obligates the person to swear a shvua of someone who had missed a part of the claim, since the grapes were ready to be picked and no longer needed to be attached to the tree and the ground. They are considered as if they had already been picked. But the Chachamim say, anything attached to the ground is considered like the ground, even if it no longer needs to be attached. It can therefore not be made to swear about the grapes from the other 5 trees, since the shvua d'oraisa do not apply to claims about things that are legally considered land. Okay, moving on. A person swears a shvua permitting part of a claim only about something that has either a specific measure, a specific weight, or a specific number. Ketzad, what's an example of this? Bias, someone says, I handed over a house full of produce to you to watch for me. Or I handed over a purse full of money to you to watch me. And the other person says, I do not know exactly how much produce or money you gave me because you did not measure it, weigh it, or count it in my presence. But whatever you left with me, you are now taking back. This is less than a house full of. This is less than a house full or a person. Potter, he is not chayav to swear that this is all he received. Neither the claim nor the admission were about a specific measure, weight, or number. Zeh Omer Eid Haziz. But this one, the claim says that the house up to the ceiling, the windows, chayiv, and he's chayiv to swear that he never received more because the shvua was about a measurable amount, and the mission was also for a measurable part of the amount. Therefore, he is chayiv shvua. Complicated stuff here. Mishnah Zion. Hamal ve'es chaveru ala mashka bavad hamashka. When someone lends the person money on security, the security was lost or stolen, and they now dispute about how much the security was worth. So now we're going to talk about 4 cases and talk about the halacha for each of the 4. The first case, Amalo Sela Havisicha Alav Shekel Hava Hayashove. If the lender says to the borrower, I lent you a seller on it, and the security was worth only 1 shekel. For seller, so you still owe me a shekel. For hala amra lo ki, and the borrower says, no, not true, not so. Ela seller havisani, Allah is seller hayashave. Rather, you lent me a seller on it, and it was worth the entire seller, so I owe you nothing. Pater, the borrower is not chayv to swear an oath that it was worth the full seller because he doesn't owing the lender anything. Second case. The lender said to the borrower, I lent you a seller on it, and the security was worth only a shekel. So you still owe me a shekel, which is equal to 2 dinars. And the borrower replies, not so. Rather, you lent me a seller on it, and the security was worth 3 dinars. So I now owe you only 1 dinar, but not 2. The chayiv, the borrower is chayiv to swear, to make a shvua that the security is worth 3 dinars, because he admits that he still owes part of the claim. And the third case. If the borrower said to the lender, you lent me a seller on it, and the so now you owe me the extra seller. And the lender replies, not so. Rather, I lent you a seller on it, and it was worth only a seller, so I owe you nothing. Pater, the lender is not chayav to swear that the security was worth only a seller, because he denies owing anything. And the fourth case, if the borrower said to the lender, you lent me a seller on it, and the security is worth 2 sellers, so now you owe me the extra seller. The lender replies, not so. Rather, I lent you a seller on it, and the security was worth 5 dinars, so I now owe you 1 dinar, not 4. And the lender is chayav to swear that the security was worth 5 dinars, because he admits to owing part of the claim. But let's wrap this up. But who swears first? The one who is in possession of the deposit, meaning the security, before it was stolen or lost. So the lender swears first that the security is no longer in his possession. So why is this? Because otherwise, the borrower might swear that the security is worth the higher amount while having carefully assessed its value, and then the lender will bring up the deposit and show that it's worth less than the borrower claimed. This would disqualify the borrower from future edus and Shevuos. To prevent this, the Chachamim required the lender to swear first that he no longer had the security in his possession, and then have the borrower swear how much it was worth. That's all for today. We will finish up. We will continue on Sunday and move on to Idiots afterwards. Have a great day. Have a wonderful Shabbos. Thank you for joining us.